The day Sophia and I got married, Jason came back. He was our childhood friend, and the one she had never been able to forget. In a room full of our friends and family, she just stared at him, and her hand slipped out of mine. In that moment, I suddenly realized 3 childhood friends is one too many. The day Sophia proposed to me and I said yes, she posted on Instagram for the first time in forever. From the moment we met until the end of time, nothing and no one else matters. I was so happy in that moment. I naively believed we were the moment we met, and we would also be the end of time. The picture she posted with it was a stick figure drawing we made as kids. 2 little figures, one red and one blue, holding hands, with a little spotted dog next to them. We had made that drawing a reality. At that moment, we were curled up on the sofa holding hands, with our little dog buddy in our lap, reading all the congratulatory comments. Childhood sweethearts. Meant to be. Congratulations. Whoa, Sophia, this is the real deal. When's the wedding? Send me an invite. I'll definitely be there. Finally. Leo, I always said you two were destined for each other. I stared at the screen, my eyes starting to get watery. Sophia looked at me, her eyes smiling. She reached out and gently tapped my nose, her voice full of soft, loving affection. You silly goose. Why are you tearing up? I'm right here. It's an understatement to say I was moved. Even though Sophia and I had only officially been dating for about 4 years, the truth is, I had been secretly in love with her for years before that. And now I was finally going to marry her. The wedding was set for 3 months later. We booked the hotel together, picked out the tux and dress, and I even hand-wrapped all the wedding favors. Sophia chose pink roses as the main theme for the flowers. The entire reception hall was transformed into an ocean of pink roses. Everything was going exactly as I had dreamed, until the day of the wedding when Jason came back. The ceremony was just wrapping up. Sophia took the ring from the officiant. In the next second, she would put that ring on my finger. Suddenly, the main doors at the back of the hall burst open. A man in a pure white suit was standing at the end of the aisle. Even from a distance, I recognized him. It was Jason. He was wearing the exact suit I had picked out for myself, the one Sophia had claimed was accidentally damaged. His hair was perfectly styled. He looked calm, collected. He walked, step by step, through the stunned crowd, right up to the altar. No one stopped him. The arrogance in his eyes was the same as it had always been. The atmosphere in the room dropped to freezing. You could have heard a pin drop. I heard a few of our friends whispering in the front row. Is he wearing the suit Leo picked out? I thought she said it was ruined? It looks fine. Yeah, anyone could see. The suit wasn't damaged. Sophia just wanted Jason to wear it more than me. Everyone was staring at us. And my lovely bride, she just stared at the ex she'd never gotten over, and without a second's hesitation, she let go of my hand. Then, as if she suddenly realized what she'd done, she snatched her hand back, clutching the ring tightly in her palm. I heard Jason's voice. He said to Sophia, "I love it. Thank you." I understood instantly. I had lost. Actually, there were warning signs. The day before the wedding, Sophia suddenly vanished. No one could reach her. I covered for her. I knew where she had gone. I decided to make a bet. I bet that she really loved me. I bet that she was just going to finally let him go. I wanted a clear answer, and I wanted to give our little family one last chance. Even without the bride, I kept directing the wedding preparations, making sure everything stayed on track. Even if it meant I was at the rehearsal by myself. Even if it meant she wouldn't come back, turning me into a laughingstock. From 5 years old to 26, I couldn't believe all those years meant nothing to her. Luckily, Sophia came back. She showed up right before the ceremony was supposed to start. When the officiant was pinning the boutonniere to my tux, Sophia appeared at the dressing room door, looking like she'd been through a lot. I admit my heart was pounding. My hands were shaking so much I was crumpling the bow tie I was holding. But Sophia was back. She was wearing the dress we picked out together, and she walked with me to the altar. The officiant read the vows with a beaming face. I looked at Sophia, and her eyes were full of love. She held my hand tightly as she took the ring from the officiant. Everything was perfect, until Jason showed up. Sophia letting go of my hand without a thought shattered every illusion I had. Of course, that intense, youthful love is the kind that scars you. You can't just forget it. I was still the same naive, slow-witted fool. Only in this moment did I finally realize 3 childhood friends is one too many. The whispers in the crowd started to grow. I snapped out of my misery, forcing back the tears that were about to spill. It's okay. I lost, but at least I got my answer. I guess I should let them have their happy ending. After coming all this way to put on this tragic romance, it would be a shame if it didn't end perfectly. I snatched the ring from Sophia's hand and shoved it directly into Jason's suit pocket. When I looked back at Sophia, I heard my own voice, shaking. The wedding's canceled. Sophia, we're done. I tried to say it as calmly as I could. The crowd erupted. It didn't matter. I walked off the altar without looking back. Only then did my dear bride finally snap back to reality. She rushed down and grabbed my arm, her eyes filled with blame. Leo, what are you doing? Stop acting like a child. Jason, finally chiming in, put on a victorious look, but his voice was that same old manipulative crap. Leo, don't misunderstand. I just wanted to be your best man. We promised when we were kids that we'd be each other's best man. Remember? He was the same as ever, an expert at using that innocent, confused tone to make himself completely blameless. Now his eyes were red, his voice choked up, as if he was the one who'd been deeply wronged. Coming to be the best man in my suit? You're just as shameless as ever, aren't you? Besides, what childhood bond do we have left, Mr. Jason? I really didn't want to watch Jason's performance, but this was the exact act Sophia always fell for. She steadied the on the verge of tears Jason, and after comforting him, she finally deigned to look at me. Leo, you're always so impulsive. I'm the one who asked Jason to be the best man. He remembered your promise. Can we just finish the ceremony and talk about this later? Impulsive? Me? Who asks their ex-boyfriend to be the best man at their wedding, wearing the suit the groom picked out. No wonder the staff at the door didn't even blink when Jason showed up. The bride had obviously cleared it with them. She had really prepared a massive surprise for me. Suddenly, I was done being patient. There was no dignity left to save. I shook off Sophia's hand, pushing her away in disgust. Sophia, stop being pathetic. Do you think I'm blind? You knew he was still in love with you, and you still gave him the suit, and now you have the nerve to tell me I'm acting like a child? I'm sorry, it's just a suit. I didn't think you'd mind, I thought. She couldn't even finish the lie. I pulled the heirloom emerald ring, her family's, off my ring finger and pushed it back into Sophia's hand. I get it now. You two are the real love story. Why don't you marry him instead? You two really deserve each other. This ring had been given to me by Sophia's grandmother before she passed away. I truly thought I would be its owner. I had overestimated myself. In the end, I was just the joke of this whole celebration. Not like Jason. Even after being separated from Sophia for so many years, that look of smug entitlement in his eyes had never changed. Just like right now. He wiped a tear from the corner of his eye, leaned on Sophia's shoulder, and put on that innocent, confused face again. His voice wasn't loud, but it was just loud enough for the whole room to hear. Leo, are you mad just because of the suit? If you want it, I can give it to you right now. Then I heard him add, in a quiet sneer, Leo, you're so pathetic. After licking Sophia's boots for all these years, you can't even get the suit you wanted? So that's what give an inch, take a mile looks like. I couldn't take it anymore. I pushed Sophia aside, stormed up to Jason, and grabbed his tie. Smack. I hit him with a resounding slap across the face. The hall erupted in gasps. Jason clutched his left cheek, his eyes wide with disbelief. Surprised? Didn't think I'd actually hit you, did you? Let me tell you, Jason, consider that slap my wedding gift to you and Sophia. You can keep this stupid suit. No need to thank me. You pull another stunt like this, and I'll give you a few more. I shook my stinging hand. I watched as Jason, looking devastated, collapsed into Sophia's arms. His voice choked with sobs, as if he'd suffered a terrible injustice. Ha! I had to admit his acting skills were top-notch. I was no match, but I didn't expect Jason to suddenly lunge forward and push me. It happened too fast. I stumbled backward, losing my balance. Just as I was about to fall, someone caught me from behind. I turned. It was Sophia's mother. Today, she was wearing the gown I had picked out for her. It was elegant and beautiful, but her face was grim. After steadying me, she suddenly stepped forward and slapped Jason. Hard. Smack. The sound was crisp and long, echoing through the entire hall. It wasn't just me, even Sophia was stunned. Who would have thought that the always gentle, reserved Mrs. Liu could be so explosive? Jason held his left cheek, which had now been slapped twice. His eyes filled with venom. I'd noticed back in high school that Sophia's mom didn't like Jason, and Jason didn't like her either. I just never understood why. After 2 slaps, even Jason couldn't maintain his act. He clutched his already swelling face, shot a hateful glare at me and Sophia's mom, and ran out of the chaotic wedding hall. And my bride, Sophia, stared at the direction Jason had run, torn. After less than 30 seconds of hesitation, ignoring the shouts of her parents, Sophia ran after Jason. Before she left, she didn't forget to toss a few more words to sicken me.
I'm sorry, Leo.
I really do love you. Wait for me, I'll explain. Sorry? Love me? Wait for her? I'm not that pathetic. A meticulously planned wedding had turned into the most absurd farce. Me and Sophia, my family and her family. Years of friendship, ending today. On the way home, my phone wouldn't stop ringing. I just put it on silent. But then, the screen lit up with a string of text messages. Leo, Jason, and I ended things a long time ago. Don't misunderstand. Jason didn't mean any harm. Stop acting like a child. Wait for me to come back. I immediately blocked Sophia on everything. Keeping her contacts would just be self-sabotage. A single tear escaped the corner of my eye. I tried to force myself to laugh, but hot tears just kept flowing, drowning me. How did things end up like this? Sophia and I had been neighbors since kindergarten. We were 5 years old. We were 2 little terrors, constantly chasing each other, getting into trouble. We were so rowdy, we were always getting our parents called in. It got to the point where our parents had a system. If the school called one set of parents, they knew it was for both of us. We brawled our way through elementary school. And then I met Jason. Or more accurately, I ran into Jason. I was still just as hyperactive. I was running too fast during recess and knocked him flat on the ground. He fell. His eyes got red. His lips started to quiver, and I immediately panicked. I pulled him up and started apologizing. And just like that, we became friends. Honestly, Jason and I were polar opposites. We never should have gotten along, but he just kept seeking me out. Before long, he met Sophia. And just like that, our 2-person team became 3. When did that friendship start to crack? I think the signs were there at the start of high school. At 16, Sophia was the perfect girl. Tall, beautiful, a straight-A student, and she could destroy anyone on the school's debate team. She had just started high school and was already drowning in snacks and love letters from admirers. A lot of guys liked her. I was one of them. A teenage crush is hard to hide. I secretly told Jason all about it. He just laughed and teased me. Our Leo is all grown up. He's got a crush. We laughed about it all afternoon. A few days later, on Valentine's Day, Jason pulled me aside mysteriously and asked me to deliver a love letter for him. A love letter he had written to Sophia. Leo, we're best friends, right? Can you give this to Sophia for me? I'm too embarrassed. I was floored. My best friend was asking me to give his love letter to the girl I liked. I wasn't angry that Jason liked Sophia. I was angry that he knew how I felt and still asked me to do this. I refused. Jason's face suddenly changed into one I had never seen before. He sneered. I could hear the mockery in his voice. Leo, do you really think that just because you won't deliver it, Sophia and I won't get together? I was just trying to give you a chance to still be friends with us. He was right. A few days later, I heard the news they were dating. One was the girl I'd liked for years. The other was my best friend. They were together, and I was the last person in our friend group to find out. Jason was very public about it. He grabbed Sophia's hand, walked right up to me, and put on that innocent, clueless expression again. He asked me, "Leo, Sophia and I are together now. You'll support us, right?" What could I say? I could only blame myself for being too slow. I couldn't bring myself to support them. After that, I intentionally avoided any situation where all three of us would be together. I had to. I really liked Sophia, and I just couldn't understand Jason's betrayal. Maybe our friendship had been fake from the start. But what was his goal? This awkward distance lasted until our senior year. In the first half of senior year, Sophia's mom found out about her and Jason. They had been too public, and the school made an example of them. The school called in both Sophia's and Jason's mothers. It was a huge mess. At the end of the semester, Jason suddenly left the country. He and Sophia were forced to break up, and I ended up at the same university as Sophia. Without Jason in the way, Sophia and I started getting close again. This long-lost closeness made me almost forget Jason even existed. But we were, through it all, just friends. The turning point happened in our senior year of college. An upperclassman in my department, Chloe, started pursuing me, and she was not subtle. Chloe was amazing, beautiful, elegant, and Sophia's #1 rival on the debate team. Our two departments were in a heated competition. The debate hall was packed with supporters for both sides. I had gotten there early to save a good seat, and I was yelling, "Go Chloe," over and over. During the mid-debate break, Chloe walked right up to me. She held out her slender, pale hand, asking for the bottle of water I was holding. In an instant, the whole room started hooting and cheering. I turned bright red, completely frozen. Suddenly, another hand shot out and grabbed the water bottle from me. I turned. It was Sophia. She coolly twisted the cap, took a few big gulps, and then turned to Chloe with a smug, challenging smile. "He's my boyfriend. Only I get to drink his water." Then she grabbed my shirt, pulled me in, and kissed me on the cheek. The entire place exploded. And just like that, Sophia and I were officially a couple. To be fair, Sophia was an amazing girlfriend. She was always so romantic. She would pick a night that was drizzling, but where the moon was still out, and take me on a Ferris wheel to get as close to the sky as possible. The breeze would blow the light mist onto our faces, and under the moonlight, we had our first kiss. She was always so gentle and thoughtful. She'd take me to see the northern lights in the summer. We'd wear matching scarves in the dead of winter. When I had stomach problems for a few days, she was always there with warm water and medicine. She paid such close attention to everything about me. I was so blinded by her meticulous care that I never stopped to think about who had taught her to be so thoughtful. Being blissfully ignorant has its perks. At least our time together was beautiful. But when that bubble burst, all those tiny, massive, wonderful memories turned into sharp shards of glass, stabbing me in the heart. They left me bleeding out, unable to sleep. I still remember our first anniversary. Sophia rented an entire riverboat and invited all our friends from college. The night was beautiful, with a cool breeze coming off the water. The boat was decorated in a way that was both luxurious and romantic. It was filled with my favorite flowers, lilies, and SpongeBob SquarePants dolls. A dazzling fireworks show was the highlight of the evening. Against the full moon, pink roses exploded in the sky, one after another, all night long. It was so beautiful it felt like a dream. To the sound of an elegant piano, Sophia took my hand and led me down an aisle scattered with lily petals to receive our first anniversary gift, a little spotted puppy. She named him Buddy. I asked her why she chose that name. She said, "I hope he can protect the one I love and keep him safe and happy." Her words moved me for a long, long time. Thinking back on it now, I can only laugh at how naive and conceited I was. We dated like that for 4 whole years. Everyone assumed we'd end up together, including our families. Our parents had watched both of us grow up. They were thrilled about our relationship. So when Sophia's grandmother got very sick on her deathbed, her parents called both me and Sophia to her side. Her grandmother held my hand, and in front of the entire family, She entrusted both Sophia and the family's heirloom emerald ring to me. I really thought Sophia and I would be together forever. So when she proposed to me right after grad school, I said yes without a moment's hesitation. But in the end, it all came to this. Sophia's parents called her back home, but I refused to see her. It wasn't that I was afraid I couldn't let go. It was that I was just too disgusted. For years of sweet memories were crashing around in my head, and now they all felt like rancid garbage. I can still see her face when she proposed. She was so beautiful that day, her eyes full of love. She told me Leo will be happy together forever. But in the end, she was the one who personally smashed that beautiful illusion. I just couldn't understand how things could fall apart so quickly. It wasn't until my high school friend, Max, sent me a screenshot of an Instagram post that I finally understood. It wasn't that things fell apart quickly. It was that I had been living a lie the entire time. It was a screenshot of Jason's Instagram. The content was familiar. The picture was the exact same one Sophia had posted the night she proposed to me. The only difference was that beneath the picture, there was a lot of text. It was in Sophia's handwriting, a list of all the promises she and Jason had made when they were young. We'll get a spotted dog together and name him Buddy. We'll set off a whole night of pink rose fireworks for Jason. We'll eat Jason's favorite mango cake together. We'll ride the Ferris wheel to the very top and watch the moon on a rainy night. We'll have a wedding filled with pink roses. So that was it. No wonder she insisted on mango in the wedding cake, even though she knew I'm allergic. She doesn't even like mango. No wonder Sophia wanted pink roses as the main flower for the wedding. I suddenly understood what Jason meant at the altar when he said, "I love it." Thank you. Of course he loved it. My wedding was decorated to look like his dream. How could he not love such a blatant declaration of love? So all these years, Sophia had never let him go. All that romance she showed me was just her using me as an excuse to relive her love for Jason, over and over. She was proclaiming her guilt and love for Jason to the world, all under the guise of loving me. And as for me, I was just the conceited stand-in. So the moment the original returned, I was instantly kicked to the curb. Our dog, Buddy, was whining and rubbing against my leg. I looked down at him and burst into tears. The dog I had raised with my own hands was their pledge of love. After all these years, I was finally seeing Sophia's true heart for the first time. I wiped my tears. This wasn't the time to be weak. I had more urgent things to deal with. When I went down to the garage, I saw Sophia and Max from a distance. They were arguing loud enough for me to hear. Max was furious. "Are you crazy? Who invites their ex-boyfriend to be the best man at their wedding?" I just wanted to make one of his wishes come true. "I didn't think it would turn into this," Sophia replied, as calm as ever. "Whose wish? Jason's? He was obviously up to no good. Couldn't you see that?" Sophia didn't answer, just stared at the ground. Max snatched the car keys from her hand and yelled, "Even an idiot could see Jason was there to sabotage the wedding. And you gave him Leo's suit? Are you stupid? How are you going to fix things with Leo?" Sophia cut Max off, annoyed. "Don't talk about him like that. We've been friends for so many years. He just wanted to congratulate us. As for Leo, I'll explain it to him properly. We've been through so much together. Our relationship won't just end like this." "Been through so much?" Max actually laughed at that. "Are you dreaming? You've been through all that goodwill and now it's gone. When you regret this, don't come crying to me. And if you and Jason actually get together, don't talk to me either. I don't want the bad luck." Max angrily pushed past Sophia and stormed off. Sophia sighed and ran after him. And I stood there in the shadows, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. So much history. Sophia really thought she had me figured out. The saddest part? My old high school buddy was defending me more than the woman I had almost married. I really wasted my youth on a dog. I went out for a while. When I got back, I threw everything related to the wedding into the dumpster by the curb, including our wedding photos. The sun was bright today, glinting off the glass of the photo frames. My message was clear. Sophia would see it. I didn't plan on handling the rest of this personally. I'd let our parents deal with it. But I didn't expect Sophia to refuse to get a divorce. What right did she have to refuse? Sophia eventually convinced Max to call me. I opened the message from Max, but it was Sophia's voice that came out. Leo, I know I was wrong. Please give me one more chance. Please don't block me. I cleared things up with Jason. We're really just friends. I really love you. Her voice in the message was choppy, and I could hear the sound of bottles breaking in the background. It's laughable, isn't it? She abandoned me at the wedding, humiliating me in front of everyone. Now that she realizes I'm serious about leaving, she puts on this pathetic, heartbroken act to profess her love. Where was this energy before? I honestly can't understand her logic. When I loved her, she treated me as a stand-in for her one true love. Now that I'm willing to let her go, she's suddenly playing the part of the devoted lover. She's just, I don't know, she's acting crazy. And Jason was acting crazy right along with her. I could see it in the friend requests he kept sending me. It's not what you think with me and Sophia. Give us a chance to explain. He's so good at this, pretending to be weak, but really he's just showing off. When it comes to this kind of passive-aggressive crap, I'm no match for him. You really don't need to be upset. Everyone has a past, right? A past should stay in the past. He and Sophia should have stayed dead and buried. Popping up just to make me sick is just wrong. We grew up together. Our childhood friendship, are you just gonna throw it all away? Isn't that a shame? I'd heard the saying, a shameless person is invincible. Now I finally understood what it meant. Thank God for the new app update. I could see his entire dramatic performance without ever having to accept his request. I ignored both of their self-absorbed theatrics. But then Max called, and he was, again, trying to plead Sophia's case. I only said one thing to him: a relationship is like a broken mirror. Once it's shattered, you can't force it back together. Stop trying to convince me. It's impossible. I suddenly understood something. Why people who were once so madly in love become bitter enemies after a breakup. It's simple. The deeper the love, the deeper the wound. Just one more look is enough to make your insides twist in pain. And the next thing I had to do was going to be far more painful than just breaking up with Sophia. After ignoring Sophia for half a month, I had Max set up a meeting. Some things are better dealt with sooner rather than later. We met at the lounge Max owns. It's the same place Sophia proposed to me. It's only been a few months, but coming back now, it felt like a lifetime ago. Max had cleared the place out for us. When I got there, they were already waiting. As I expected, Jason was there too, a smug, satisfied grin on his face. Of course, this was a perfect opportunity for him to gloat. I ignored Jason completely. He started to walk over to me, but Max pulled him away. Sophia's face lit up when she saw me. She probably thought me asking to meet meant I was willing to reconcile. She rushed over to try and take my hand, but I immediately stepped back. Her face, already looking haggard, fell. She looked at me, wanting to speak, but didn't know what to say. I didn't care how she felt. I just pulled out a folder of documents. After the wedding, I'd asked a friend to look into Jason's current situation. I also finally understood why Sophia had disappeared the day before the wedding. I slapped a stack of photos and bank transfer records onto the table. When she saw them, I thought for a second that I had won my bet. But in the end, I had still lost. Completely. This truth was far more damaging than simple infidelity. If I wanted to make a clean break from Sophia, I had to be the one to reveal it. I left the copies of the file with her and walked away. I had nothing left to say to her. It's strange. She's the person I loved for so many years. But after just half a month, seeing her again was like looking at a stranger. All I felt was apathy. That face, the one I used to dream of spending the rest of my life with, now all I felt when I thought of it was disgust and mockery. I curled up in a dark corner of the lounge. My heart ached. It was a pain worse than any physical injury. I didn't even realize my eyes were red. As I was staring into space, a tissue was held out in front of me. I looked up. I recognized the hand. It was Chloe. She was frowning, looking at my devastated state. I always seem to be at my worst when she's around. At the wedding and now here, Chloe insisted on driving me home. She said she was worried about me. She always had been. I understood what she meant. I knew it from the moment she flew halfway across the world just to attend my wedding. But right now, I just didn't have the mental energy to even think about that. Chloe, thank you. But I don't know when I'll be over this. I can't drag you into it. Chloe didn't answer directly. Instead, she grabbed an orange from the bar and placed it in my hand. Try it. I remember you love oranges. I've tried this kind. They're very sweet. She smiled at me, that same gentle smile from college. Leo, time heals all wounds. I'm not in any rush. The orange was, in fact, very sweet. I ate 3 of them, as if eating enough sweetness could somehow counteract the bitterness in my heart. It didn't work. The lounge wasn't far from my house. As we pulled up, I saw Sophia. She was standing outside my house, her back to the door, smoking a cigarette. Good. Seeing her now saves me a trip. I told Chloe to stop at the curb, and I got out and walked up to Sophia. Her eyes lit up when she saw me, but then she saw Chloe in the car behind me, and her expression darkened. The disappointment was obvious, but all I could think was, this sudden devotion is worthless. I handed her the divorce papers. As expected, Sophia's reaction was priceless. Shock, regret, pain, conflict, all of them flashed across her face, one after another. I didn't feel any satisfaction. I just looked at her calmly. Sophia, how long are you going to let him fool you? Do you really think there's anything left for us to save? Let's get a divorce. It's the only way this can end. The next second, she tore the papers to shreds. Her eyes filled with an agonizing pain. Why didn't you tell me this sooner? If you had told me, we never would have gotten to this point. I really do love you. And where would we be? Sophia, I don't need your pity as an apology. Your love is fake, and I'm done with it. Did she not want to tell me? It was betrayal before the wedding, and lies after. I will not use one lie to hold onto a woman who doesn't love me. Not everyone gets the love story they dream of. If I get it, I'm lucky. If I lose it, that's just life. I accept it. Sophia collapsed onto the ground, sobbing into her hands. I think, for the first time, she was truly feeling the pain of being deceived and betrayed. Just like I did. The pain has to be deep for the memory to stick. I want her to remember this absurd farce forever. Just like I will. Sophia's parents found out what happened very quickly. They kicked Sophia out of the house that night. Her mother also went to find Jason, and the two of them had another massive confrontation. Jason was never one to take a loss. I knew they had bad blood, but I was surprised by how aggressively he fought back against her. He could have just used his old tactics on her, play the victim, act innocent, squeeze out a few tears. By making the relationship this hostile, it seemed like he wasn't even trying to have a future with Sophia. This wasn't his usual style. The night Sophia was kicked out, her parents came to my house. They apologized to me, saying they hadn't raised their daughter right, and that I had been terribly wronged. Sophia's mother held my hand, her eyes red, and told me some old family history, and I finally understood why she and Jason were destined to be enemies. Back when Sophia and Jason's relationship was exposed in high school, we were in our senior year, the most critical time. So the school called in both Sophia's and Jason's mothers. And just like that, Sophia's mother, Yoon, and Jason's mother, Lee, met again after many years. Lee was Sophia's father's first love. They had been deeply in love for years but were forced to break up by their parents. Later, Sophia's parents met and fell in love quickly. Right when they got married, Lee reappeared. She told Sophia's father that she couldn't let him go, that he had to abandon his new wife and get back together with her. He refused. What followed was relentless harassment from Lee. Even after Sophia was born the next year, Lee's obsession didn't stop. It was only 2 years later, when Sophia's parents moved, that the nightmare finally ended. Many years passed. And then, Sophia and Jason's relationship brought these two warring women back together. Lee was just as obsessive and crazy as before. She said to Sophia's mother, "I never got your husband, but my son got your daughter. I guess heaven isn't so unfair after all, is it?" Sophia's mother was terrified. She had just met Jason, and she saw that the boy's personality and manipulative nature were exactly like his mother's. The defiant look in his eyes was identical to his mother's. She was certain Jason was bad news, so she used all her connections to get Jason kicked out of the school. Jason leaving the country was unexpected, but for Sophia's mother, it was even better. Years had passed since then. She thought she was finally done with Lee and her son. But the moment Jason returned, he shattered that long-held peace. After hearing the story, I sighed. Fate is a strange thing. If something isn't yours, no matter how tightly you hold on, it will slip through your fingers. Lee was driven mad by love. I won't let myself become that. After that night, Sophia refused to see Jason. He couldn't find her, so naturally he came to find me. It was a dark and stormy night. Jason burst in, soaked to the bone. He grabbed my hand, begging me to let Sophia go, to stop getting in their way. He told me Sophia had never loved me. I didn't argue. I just stared at his obsessive, crazed face for a long time, trying to remember the boy I'd first met. Couldn't. People really do change, don't they? I pushed Jason off me and had Max call Sophia. She arrived quickly. The moment Jason saw her, he rushed to her, but Sophia dodged him. Her eyes, which once looked at Jason with such tenderness, were now filled with nothing but cold caution. When she spoke, her voice was distant, pushing him away. Jason, you've caused enough trouble. It's time for you to go. I have nothing left to say to you. Sophia, what does that mean? Are you breaking up with me? Jason put on that innocent, vulnerable face again. This time, it didn't work. We already broke up. Back in senior year. Try to remember. Is it because of him? Jason pointed at me. Sophia looked at me, her eyes filled with a deep sadness. She gave a self-deprecating laugh and shook her head. It has nothing to do with him. I just don't want to have anything to do with you anymore. Jason, let it go. Let us both move on. Is that right? You want to cut ties with me? Don't be stupid, Sophia. We can never be cut off from each other. Jason's expression turned strange, shifting from anger to conflict, and finally, to a twisted, triumphant madness. He looked around the room, his eyes landing on me and Sophia. He said, let me tell you both a story. Once upon a time, there was a couple. They were very in love, but their parents forced them apart. After they broke up, the woman discovered she was pregnant. She insisted on having the baby, but as soon as the child was born, the woman's parents sent him to an orphanage. The woman was heartbroken. She went to find the child's father, only to discover he had a new lover. She begged the man to come back to her, but he refused. The woman stayed near the man, never leaving, until her mother died and she had to go home for the funeral. When she returned, she found the man had moved his new family away. She had no choice but to go back to her parents. Years later, she adopted a son from an orphanage. That little boy from the orphanage was me. Story time is over. Do you have any questions? Jason stared at us. Sophia and I were just stunned. We couldn't process it. The story, it was too similar to the one Sophia's mother had told. A terrible, awful guess was forming in my mind, but I was afraid to say it. If my guess was right, then what was Jason's goal? He was a madman. Sophia, trembling, asked the question I was thinking. Jason, are you saying that you and we might have that kind of relationship? Why be so delicate, Sophia? It's not might. Jason saw the terror in her eyes, and his smile grew even more crazed. That woman is your mother, and I am the family member you all forgot. Jason's words were like a snake striking, freezing Sophia where she stood. He just admired her horrified expression, and his next words were laced with poison. Isn't it fun, sister? Every time you looked at me with all that love in your eyes, I would imagine your face when you found out the truth. Your reaction right now, it's exhilarating. What do you think your mother's reaction will be when she finds out who I really am? He suddenly lunged forward and grabbed Sophia's hand again, his eyes red with excitement. Get off me. You make me sick. Sophia ripped her hand away, but he grabbed her even tighter. I know I'm disgusting, Sophia, But you didn't seem to think I was disgusting when we were wrapped up in each other. Hate and mockery dripped from his words. You said you loved me, but you were still going to marry Leo. But the second you saw me, you dropped him. Who's the disgusting one here? You are. You're just as disgusting and fake as your mother. My guess was right. This was a conspiracy that had been planned for a long time. Jason must have known his relationship with Sophia from the beginning, but he never said a word. He was like a viper, hiding in the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. And he struck hard. His bite was venomous, precise, and aimed right for the heart. I asked Jason, "When did you find out who Sophia was?" His answer was just what I expected. "From the moment I met you, I knew who Sophia was. Becoming your friend was just the easiest way to get close to her." He paused, as if remembering something, and then continued, "Don't you think the three of us are just like my mother and her parents? It's all thanks to you, Leo. When you told me you liked her, I finally figured out the perfect way to drag everyone down into this mess." His words stunned me. I guess hatred really can make a person lose their mind. "So your method was to date her? She's innocent in all this. Did it ever occur to you that Sophia's mother never even knew you existed? Your hatred is baseless." Baseless? She abandoned my mother. Because of her, I spent 7 years in an orphanage. 7 years. You have no idea what it's like to grow up without parents. So what if they didn't know? How could I stand by and watch only you all get to be happy? So, when Sophia ran to you the day before the wedding, you knew this was your moment. I finished the story for him. Jason and I locked eyes. The anger and hatred in his were raw and real. He had used both me and Sophia as tools for his revenge. But what did we have to do with the older generation's mistakes? Jason, through this cruel and malicious scheme, had torn me and Sophia apart. I couldn't even bear to imagine what would happen when Sophia's parents learned the truth. What Jason's mother had failed to do, Jason had accomplished. Fueled by a misplaced, obsessive hatred, he had destroyed us. And himself. Before he left, Jason looked at Sophia one last time. His eyes filled with a strange mix of grievance and sorrow. He told her she had no right to hate him. It was all her own choice. "Remember this, Sophia. I never loved you. You were just a tool for my revenge. Leo was the one who truly loved you. You're the one who pushed him away. Nobody forced you." After saying that, Jason turned and walked out. The rain was pouring, and he was instantly swallowed by the storm. This man, full of hate, had dropped a bomb on our peaceful lives and then vanished. The revelation of his true identity sent shockwaves through Sophia's family. Her mother was so overcome with grief and shock that she fell ill. Her father had to take care of his wife while simultaneously trying to manage the rumors and gossip spreading online. That's right. Jason had posted everything. His story with Sophia, the older generation's tangled history, all of it. I don't know how Sophia's father handled it in the end. On one side, a heartbroken, devastated daughter. On the other, a bitter, hateful son. A story of love and hate spanning 2 generations. There was no way for it to end well. Sophia fell apart for a long time. I mean, can you blame her? The unforgettable first love she'd been pining for had been lying about his identity the whole time, all part of a conspiracy, and had even scammed her using a fake story. Now all that was left was a pile of ashes and absurd lies. Anyone would need time to recover. She started smoking, drinking heavily, and even driving drunk. Until one night, on a deserted road, she crashed her car and ended up in the hospital. Multiple bone fractures and massive internal bleeding. The doctors managed to save her, but her vocal cords were severely damaged. She would never be able to stand on a debate stage again. The fact that she was alive was the best possible outcome. After she was discharged, she locked herself in her house and refused to see anyone. Her mother cried every day. Jason was nowhere to be found. In just a few short months, her parents' hair had turned visibly gray. I could only sigh. We were once so close to happiness. Now all we could do was stare at the wreckage, licking our wounds and remembering what used to be. About 6 months later, I received a package from Sophia. It contained the signed divorce papers and a letter of apology. Inside was the heirloom emerald ring. She wanted me to keep it. She said her grandmother had left it for me. But I knew I no longer had any right to it. I sent the ring back. I only kept the papers. The divorce was finalized quickly. The assets were divided without any trouble. I kept Buddy. I had raised him. I couldn't abandon him. I don't ride Ferris wheels anymore. I don't like watching fireworks. Chloe comes by sometimes to take me out, just as friends. Buddy really likes her. When she's around, he doesn't even want me to hold his leash. That little traitor. Life is slowly starting to get back to normal. The evening light is beautiful, turning Chloe's eyes a sparkling gold. The breeze smells like lilies. It's a new season. Lilies bloom twice. Maybe in the near future I can find my own happiness too. Epilogue. Jason's story. I was an orphan. I grew up in an orphanage, but I knew I had a family. They just didn't want me. The kids with families who lived near the orphanage told me. They said I was bad luck, a worthless burden, that I'd cursed my parents and dragged everyone down. That's why I was thrown out at birth. I wanted to argue, but I had no argument. Why else would my family have abandoned me? So when my mother finally came to get me from the orphanage and told me that all our misfortune was caused by Sophia's parents, I believed her. I was so happy. I finally had a perfect reason. I wasn't a worthless, bad luck charm. It was those selfish, evil people who had abandoned us for their own desires. I was the innocent victim. I did what my mother said. I transferred schools. I deliberately found a way to befriend Leo and used him to get close to Sophia. Stupid Sophia was just as easy to fool as her mother had been. I successfully made her my girlfriend, and I successfully shattered her years of friendship with Leo. But her mother discovered my plan. She pulled some strings and I was forced to transfer. Leaving the country was unexpected. My mother got sick, the same as her parents. Cancer. I was her only family. I had to go with her for treatment. But it wasn't over. I never truly cut off contact with Sophia. When I heard from high school friends that she and Leo were getting married, I knew. The time for my final revenge had come. Luring Sophia overseas was effortless. In that moment, I suddenly felt bad for Leo. How would he feel if he knew the suit he loved was being sent to his fiancée's first love? I was so curious to see his reaction. So I flew back, full of anticipation, to attend their wedding. The wedding was beautiful. It was exactly what I had dreamed of. And their reactions were priceless. Shock, disappointment, anger. The wedding was a complete disaster. But it wasn't enough. When I finally revealed my true relationship with Sophia, the look of absolute, soul-crushing shock on her face, it finally gave me the sweet, intoxicating taste of revenge. A bitch like her deserves to be ruined forever. She didn't deserve happiness. And her parents had to pay the price. I read the online gossip about her family and me to my mother on her deathbed. She was just a skeleton, her eyes empty. She died without ever closing them. I don't know if she was satisfied with the result. I don't know if she regretted raising me to be a heartless monster. Whatever. We'll be seeing each other soon. I'll ask her then. Actually, I know what I did was evil, pathetic, and disgusting. But if I didn't do it, I couldn't stay by my mother's side. I had finally found family. How could I let that go? Now my mother is gone. I went to that Ferris wheel. The car rose to the very top. The wind was light. The night sky was quiet. The past flashed before my eyes. All these people, all these events. The only person I feel sorry for is Leo. I'm sorry, Leo. When it comes to you, I am truly a sinner. In the distance, fireworks exploded. I took the leap. The wind rushed past my ears, and everything went to nothing.